And here we go. Thursday, January 6th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon to you, my friend. Jesus Christ, were we having some good laughs off air.
We laughed so hard today.
Yeah, it's been an amazing day already.
What time is it?
It's 2:01.
Got it.
It's 2:01. But getting back on track, great night last night in basketball. Kyrie came back, and just like that, the Brooklyn Nets are the favorite once again. Like, he's amazing. Like, what he does, he's the basketball version of Aaron Rodgers. Off the field, there's a lot to talk about. You might call him a jerk. You might call him unreliable as it relates to off the field things, little things he says about the team or the organization he's with. Very like an Aaron Rodgers, because when he steps in that hardwood, there is no point guard that is better than Kyrie at finishing at the basket and elevating his team that much to the next level. I know they were playing the Indiana Pacers last night, who also had a guy that came back out of nowhere, and Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson with 30 points in a 2-year absence.
Dude, I love what's happening in the NBA
I love it.
right now.
Joe Johnson.
Mario Chalmers back. I mean,
I love it.
Lance Stevenson.
Should bring back Ben Gordon and Charlie Villanueva too on the right.
I don't know.
By the way, you know what the back page of the New York Daily News said today? After the Nets won, Kyrie did great. See you next week.
Hey.
Well, he's a part-time player. He can only play in road games,
But
they will take that right now.
But not only will they take that, because they were coming off a 4-game skid, and even with Kyrie last night, they got down by 19 points. But Kyrie just giving that extra energy, allowing, because they're playing a ton of minutes, but they're just that much better when he's on the court. Kyrie is amazing, and I'm telling you what's going to happen. When he got out there with his brothers, like the stance on not being vaxxed and not wanting to be vaxxed, and you're not going to make me do something I don't want to do. That's his stance, and that's why he's waited, and it's worked for him. But it's something when you get on the court with your brothers and you get into that locker room and you guys are cracking jokes and you're seeing, the ball go into the hoop and you're seeing kicking the ball to KD or KD kicking it to you, and then KD coming up after the game in the press conference and saying, man, way to come back, like you back, MFer. That thing gets into your head. And I'm telling you, Kyrie Irving will be vaxxed by March. Mark my words, if not sooner.
There you go.
I almost want my Nets to pull over today. Almost.
Well, I was thinking about you today, Tom Mazawey, because you've been the talk of the building so far this morning, this afternoon a little bit. So Maz walks in with his bowling balls today, and we're all looking around.
All the ball puns, by the way.
We're all looking around, saying, "I don't see a bowling alley in this building."
Kathy kicked him out the house.
What happened, Maz? Why did you bring your bowling balls to Woodward Sports today?
It's bowling night tonight at Harbor Lanes and the Shores, Ted and Jefferson.
Now, can anybody show up and watch a bowl?
Come and watch us, man.
We got to do that one day.
Colony Marine, that's our team. So come and watch us. We got third place. We just missed first place in the first half.
Let me take a crack
season.
at this, Maz. The reason why he bought his bag, which is a 3-ball bag, if you guys out there at bowlers,
you use
gotta
3 balls?
It's a 3-ball bag.
You got a sack of 3?
If I have to.
So not necessarily. What you do is you have 2 strike balls and you have a spare ball, and you go back and forth between strike balls. Some bowling lanes.
Get out of here.
This is going to be the ball. Some bowling lanes. It's the feel in warm-ups. That's why practice is
Depends
very
if there's
important.
too much oil, if it's too dry.
If it's the
Depends what you use.
spider pattern, the cobra pattern. I know a little bit.
He's a hell of a bowler,
He
by the
bought
way,
his
up there.
balls in, no pun intended, because it gets cold outside, and when your balls are cold, they tend to crack. It's kind of like potholes. Like, literally, when the balls are warm, you get it going, it's nice and smooth, but when they get cold, they shrivel up. You know what I'm saying? Then they crack in the
I was
middle.
in the pool.
You don't, oh my God, I just realized what it sounded like. But you don't want the balls to crack. That's why you bring them indoors in the winter.
So you got your balls under a blanket here.
He covered them for me. Braylon covered him with his nice wool coat.
Okay, he's getting out.
We did. So I'll be ready tonight after work. I'll head down to St. Clair Shores and go for it.
Man, I'll tell you, just
Warm
phenomenal.
balls, baby.
Phenomenal stuff. Guys, we got a really good show for you today. Sean Jordan, the CEO of the sports marketing agency, is going to join us today.
He's my mentor.
Braylon's mentor, new partner on Woodward Sports Network here. We're so happy to have their business and to partner up a little bit. And we'll let you know what he's going to do. Derrick Walton of the Motor City Cruise, the triple-double last night. He will be in studio, signed a 10-day contract last week with the Detroit Pistons. This dude, I love Derrick Walton, former Michigan guard. This dude just wants to ball, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he is not giving up on that dream. He could be in the NBA, and I hope he gets a look with a team real soon. I mean, he played very well for the Detroit Pistons when he was with us last week, so we'll have him in studio.
D. Walt, man, I've always loved him since he came to Michigan. You know, you saw that finals running. I mean, he went to a lot of finals while he was there. The infamous one, 2017, when the plane crash happens on the runway, skids off the runway, and then they have to go to Maryland. I want to talk to him about that game, the Sweet 16. And just, he's balling. You know, I don't think it's about giving up on the dream. I think he knows he can ball. You know, he's been with the Heat. He's been with the Pistons. He's been with the Clippers. So it's one of those things where he's just coming into his own, and it's going to connect, and it's going to hit. Can't wait to talk to him about it.
Chris Prince, the Beerman, will join us coming up at 3:36 today, or if you're not watching live, in about an hour and a half from now. In about 90 minutes, Beerman will join us with this weekend's picks. We'll take a look at the Week 18 schedule in the NFL, also the National Championship game, see if there's a winner or two in the NBA. We can get you tonight as well. We'll take a look at the Antonio Brown situation, getting weirder by the day. He has officially been released by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bruce Arians spoke on that today. You will hear from him. Charlie Batch essentially offering Caleb Williams $1 million.
Come get this cash.
The Oklahoma quarterback in the transfer portal to come play at Eastern Michigan University. TJ Lang, Eastern Michigan Eagle, former Eastern Michigan Eagle, has weighed in on it. It is just an incredible scene that we're seeing in college football right now.
Come get this cash. Hey, if you want to play here, come on.
Isn't that something?
We got some money for you. Hey, don't worry about our record. Don't worry about the fact that we didn't win our division. Don't worry about the fact that we may be last or second to last. We got that money for you. It's about to get interesting. I know Maz is about to boycott NCAA football in a minute. It's getting to that point.
I don't like it.
I knew. Yeah. I feel you.
I don't like it.
We can talk about it in a little bit because I do have some reservations as well, and I'm just,
it's cool for evening and leveling the playing field a little bit.
You know what? NFL, then open up the doors. NFL, open up the doors. Then you don't want to go play in college? Go play in the freaking NFL then. You want to play a freshman? Play freshman. You want to go in on your sophomore year? Go in. I would have taken the Alabama linebacker this year with my number one pick, Will Anderson.
Jr.,
He's ready to play in the NFL.
I tell you,
you know what? Just open the damn doors then.
I saw two players that were ready to play out of high school, and that could have played after their freshman year in college. One was Maurice Clarett. Maurice Clarett was a football player. He knew how to run between the tackles. He could block. He just was a football player. You don't do what he did against Miami in the national championship game as a freshman if you don't know how to play football. And the other one was Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was a damn man. Like, I remember shaking his hands at the Home Depot Awards, the ESPN Home Depot Awards. As a freshman, he almost broke my damn hand. So AP and Maurice Clarett, and probably from your time, Herschel Walker.
I knew it was coming. He broke the barrier.
Yeah.
The USFL broke the barrier. They allowed juniors to enter their league.
Marcus
and that's why,
Dupree.
Yep, and that's why the NFL said, okay, we'll follow suit. Got it.
Dupree.
We'll get to that college situation in just a couple of minutes, but I do want to open up with the NFL, and this is something that's going to be talked about ad nauseum for the next 4 months or so, and that is a debate between Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux of Oregon, the defensive end. And there were 13 questions that ESPN.com proposed yesterday. So there's this 13 big questions, and one of those questions, the very first question, was who do you pick, Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux? And here's the description, if I can, from ESPN.com, this article. I'm gonna describe to you what they said, and this is NFL draft expert Jeremy Fowler. His write-up was, Aiden Hutchinson, as one NFL exec put it this way, he might not be a home run, but at worst, he's a stand-up double. In other words, people around the league believe Hutchinson has virtually no risk of being a bust, a clean prospect in every way. Thibodeaux, on the other hand, here's the description for Thibodeaux. He has more flashes of brilliance, but as an AFC exec cautioned, I watched several of his games and I barely saw him make a play. Hutchinson at least showed up every week. So some people, though, because of how many explosive plays Thibodeaux has made, they project Thibodeaux will go number 1 to Jacksonville, and Hutchinson goes number 2 to the Detroit Lions. So, Braylon, I'm going to put you on the spot. You are the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
Do you want the guy that is explosive in spots, or do you want the stand-up double in Aiden Hutchinson, a guy that's going to be very solid for you?
I'm going to tell you like this. I'll answer that question very simple. When you draft number 1, you're not looking for a stand-up double. When you draft number 1 in a draft, you're looking for a home run. Let's call it what it is. And if you're not looking for a home run, then you need to find a new job. Your job as number 1 pick, as a franchise, go for the home run. Aiden Hutchinson, if you say he's a stand-up double, just by that description, you don't draft him. You look at the flashes of brilliance in Thibodeaux, and you talk to him. You have conversation. This is what the combine is for. These are what the impromptu meetings that they have in the train station. This is what they're for. This is when they actually have the meetings on the book, where they book you with the team and say, hey, we have you at this time slot. That's what those meetings are for. Get inside his head. Hey, I noticed when you played against Utah the first time, I didn't see you out there. But yet you were on the list of playing as active players. What happened? What happened in that game? When you disappear, what's happening with that? Talk to him. Find out what type of individual he is. Why did he disappear in those games? Why did he show flashes of brilliance? Because in my mind, with all that, I'm still going to take Kayvon Thibodeaux. I'm looking for brilliance. I'm looking for a home run. And if you tell me he has flashes of brilliance,
that's what it is,
and he tests well, I'm going to take Kayvon Thibodeaux over Aiden Hutchinson. But we haven't talked about the other players that could be in the draft as well. If it's just between those two, stand-up double, I'm not going with a stand-up double with the number 1 pick in the draft.
Maz, I want you to weigh in on this as well. And, at what point, why are these the only 2 players that are being talked about right now to be the first and second players picked in the NFL draft? You don't hear any other names other than these 2 players for number 1 and number 2. Why is that?
Narrative. It's the word that you say you don't like. Yesterday you talked about not liking the word narrative. The narrative since when? The narrative since October. Well, let's not say October. Since around Thanksgiving the week before. Is it Kayvon Thibodeaux or is it Aiden Hutchinson? Because you said wasn't a ton of quarterbacks in this draft. Lack of talent at the QB position. Lack of talent at the other positions. It's been the same conversation, and that leads into a narrative where people may believe that.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey everybody, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor and the place I put my sports wagering in. That's right, if you're a first-timer and use the promo code Woodward, they'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Your money to do whatever you want with it. A full slate of NFL games starting this Saturday. You got so many games on each day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and of course the playoffs start next week, Wild Card Weekend. Can't wait. It's going to be all 3 days, by the way, and you can bet them all on MyBookie.ag. NBA full slate tonight. Who are you going to take? We'll give you some hints later because the Beerman will join us from Woodward Bets. Make sure you listen to him. When you go on to the MyBookie.ag website, put in that promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please call the Gambling Problem Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line, Woodward Sports Network, talking about, these 2 players at the top of the NFL draft, Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux, is the only 2 players really being mentioned to be picks 1 and 2. Jacksonville right now, is, if it stands, would have the number 1 pick, and the Detroit Lions number 2. Yesterday on ESPN.com, Jeremy Fowler and others involved in a 13 biggest questions regarding this upcoming NFL draft, the players. And again, just to recap it for you, they are basically calling Aiden Hutchinson a stand-up double. Not a home run, just a very solid guy out there that has virtually no chances of being a bust. Conversely, Kayvon Thibodeaux way more flashes of brilliance, but there were several times where you didn't even know he was on the field. Why is that? That's one of the questions you were asking, Braylon, and they did come out and say that the number one player picked in the draft by the Jags will be Kayvon Thibodeaux, and number 2 will be Aiden Hutchinson. If you reverse that and the Lions had the number 1 pick and the Jags had number 2, it would stay that way, they insist.
Right.
Thibodeaux number 1, Hutchinson 2. The only other player, as this article goes down, that is being even mentioned
is Evan Neal.
The linebacker, I believe.
No, left tackle for Alabama. That's another.
You're right about that.
Yeah, but
Yes.
and that's another interesting topic. We've talked and that's what I mean. The
You're
narrative.
right about that.
We've talked well, you and I are always right.
Yep.
Which is definitely a lie. We've talked so much about these guys, and it's gotten to a point where we're forgetting who's drafting. We're forgetting that, Jacksonville took a quarterback last year, number 1, in Trevor Lawrence. Guess what? You're going to need somebody to block for him. They don't have necessarily a good offensive line at all. Their offensive line has actually failed them all year. So you look at Evan Neal, he's a guy like, well, if I'm just looking at grades, does he grade out higher? I think he grades out higher than Aiden Hutchinson and as well as Thibodeaux. If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, why not take Evan Neal with that number 1 pick? Because when you get a quarterback, you need a left tackle first. That's kind of how it works. And here's a left tackle staring you in the face.
Evan Neal, the offensive tackle from Alabama.
I like a linebacker. I liked him last year. I like a linebacker this year.
Yeah.
The Kobe Dean, man's my guy. If you have to move down to get him, I would do my best and hardest to trade that number 2 pick.
I mean, if I was Jacksonville, I would take Evan Neal.
Right.
Yeah,
not
obviously
the
the Lions
no.
are not going to take,
I'm still, out of those guys, I might take the linebacker over him.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at where the Lions and Jags are. The Lions and Jags, one of the reasons why these 2 players are being talked about, 1 and 2, is because the Lions and Jags are tied for number 2 in terms of getting to the quarterback. Getting to the opposing quarterback.
Yeah.
Second fewest sacks in all of the NFL, Lions and Jags tied. So it's something they just don't do. So it's an area of need in a draft that has no quarterback, 1 offensive tackle essentially at an elite level.
You think there's a quarterback in there?
I do. I like Kenny Pickett just because of the gaudy numbers, and he's got some moxie to him. But there's a reason I think that he's not being talked about in terms of a top 10 talent.
Yeah. The 2 things. One, as you're talking about that, I've been through this mock draft process before. Right about December, like right when bowl season kicks off, right before the holiday really hits, they start the mock drafts and they start really talking, like ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Network. They start talking about the players going to be drafted. So you typically have an idea of 8 players that are going to go high. And the 2 guys or the 3 guys that they're debating between the number 1 pick. You're not seeing that this year with Kenny Pickett. They're not sliding anybody else up there. They're giving you your 3. Like Kenny Pickett won't be talked about. Because they've given you your 3. Your 3 are Evan Neal, it's Aiden Hutchinson, and it's Kayvon Thibodeaux. Those are going to be your 3. Like Kenny, if he slips up there, it'd be some, I won't say miracle, but it'd be interesting. It's a low percentage rate. Here's an interesting question though, Maz. I'll phrase this to you. Would we even be talking about Aiden Hutchinson in terms of being potentially a number 1 pick if he didn't play for the University of Michigan Wolverines, which happened to be in the same state down the street from the Detroit Lions?
No.
That's an interesting question.
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think we would, because the reason why Aiden Hutchinson has gotten the amount of love that he's gotten this year.
It goes hand in hand.
I love Aiden Hutchinson. He's the best player on a Michigan team that had virtually no big name skill position players. They had a rotation at running back for much of the season. Right. I mean, Haskins was great against Ohio State, obviously, and Penn State. But for most of the season, he was splitting time with Corum, so there was nothing gaudy there. The quarterback was probably not even the best quarterback on the team, right?
Yeah.
So
we don't know that yet.
And we don't know that yet. And
I see what you're saying.
Michigan played 4 of the 6 most highly watched college football games of the entire season. So all eyes were on Michigan, and he did show up in those games.
Except the last one.
The last one.
The most important one.
But I'm asking you, if another team had the number 1 pick, so if it wasn't the Detroit Lions, who are down the street from the University of Michigan.
I see what you're saying.
Exactly. Let's say Michigan. Let's say Detroit Lions weren't in this equation. Let's say it was the Houston Texans, and let's say it was Jacksonville, and there was no talk, because Detroit's been down the street from Michigan the whole time he's been on this run, and it's been kind of like, well, He's saying that good. We need a D tackle. It started off that way, and as he played better, the Lions, it started to, the buzz started to get more and more. Well, Aiden to the Lions. That's what I'm saying. If it wasn't the Detroit Lions, insert another team here, get Detroit out of there. Would Aiden still be considered in a top pick?
The Texans would love for him to drop to them because they love Aiden Hutchinson.
He could be like J.J. Watt part 2 for them.
They love him.
Well, look, I think a lot of people, if you look at the Detroit Lions, they do have a hard time getting into the quarterback. So it's a major area of need.
It's like a great coincidence.
And it is. What positions do you take first overall? Just examine that for a minute.
Quarterback, left tackle, and DN.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
Quarterback, left tackle, defensive end.
Yeah.
So you're not going to take the left tackle. There's no quarterback, but there are 2 defensive ends. So your evaluation comes down to the best defensive end, essentially, in the NFL draft. Now, whether that's Thibodeaux or Hutchinson, my job is not to evaluate those players. Like if I were that great of an evaluator, I'd be working for some NFL team right now, not talking about it. So it's incumbent upon Brad Holmes to decide if it's Hutchinson or Thibodeaux is the best player. And I'll just have to go with them until my own 2 eyes see what happens on the field.
Where's Ajabo fit?
So they say he's the number 1 outside linebacker in the draft.
David Ajabo is very interesting because he plays more of a type of position that Kayvon Thibodeaux plays. They play more of a similar position. Aiden plays more like J.J. Watt, where he can move inside and outside. Well, Ajabo, and we've talked about this, his upside to me, I think his upside is higher. I don't know if I take him before Aiden Hutchinson, but I'm telling you, in terms of in the NFL, I think his upside is going to be higher. I think he's now tapping in. He's still new. He's still new to the game.
Is he Ezekiel Ansah?
Could be.
But Ezekiel Ansah was a traditional defensive end. I mean, they're characterizing.
He means in terms of the upside, in terms of he was young when he got in the NFL.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you're, chances
he's more advanced.
I'd have to go back and look.
Zeke is,
Wow.
I'd have to go back and look, but I can't remember an outside linebacker being the number 1 player in the draft because that's his classification.
Well, LT. He wasn't number 1. George Rodgers went number 1.
Exactly.
He went number 2.
Okay, so you're talking about 35 years ago as well. I mean, I'm talking about in recent history. When has a outside linebacker been a top 2, top 3 pick?
But aren't you looking for
I'd
that?
have to look.
You're
Miller?
looking for Lawrence Taylor.
Maybe. That's a great comparison.
Von Miller, maybe?
You're looking for Lawrence Taylor.
great
That's why
comparison.
last year I was hoping what would happen.
Who's better than you, Braylon? That's a great comparison.
That's my case.
Seriously.
Yeah, he's right. Michael Parsons.
All right, gang. Hey, I want to show you this piece of video real quick. It's Penei Sewell and Quandre Diggs. Okay, this is a moment that they shared after the game in Seattle on Sunday.
Turn that volume up,
How great
fellas.
is this? Volume up all the way.
Keep balling, boy.
Appreciate it.
Like I told you, embrace the city. They're going to love you. I love that place.
Yeah, I got you for real. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Keep balling, boy.
Appreciate
How awesome is that, man?
They're going to love you.
It's dope for so many reasons. It's great to see a player like Quandre Diggs who clearly loves Detroit. Like, he has the keys, he has the recipe, and then you have a young player in Penei Sewell who's listening, who you can tell paid attention, who he's going to take that and keep it to heart. Like, he gave him some great advice. Like, Detroit is one of those cities. If you embrace it, we saw that this year. We saw it this year in the draft between Cade Cunningham and Jaden Green. You saw if you embrace Detroit, Detroit will embrace you. Never let Detroit down because Detroit will have your back. And he gave him that insight. He's like, he's in Seattle now. He has no reason to tell him this bit of information, except for 1, he's a hell of a person. 2, he loves the city of Detroit, and he's trying to give the young bud the recipe.
Those jackasses got rid of Diggs and Slay
after he had his best season.
I mean, what the hell?
After they just re-signed him to a contract. That's why they're on the sidelines now.
No, they shouldn't be employed.
Right.
So I almost want to question, like, did they get paid to sabotage the Detroit franchise?
Right.
Like that. I know I've been using the word negligence a lot, but it keeps coming up.
Justin Herbert trades, kick Slay to the curb.
Get rid of Quandre Diggs.
Van Noy back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Hey, gang, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Sean Jordan. We're really excited about the partnership, sports marketing agency here in Woodward Sports. Sean Jordan going to join us next. Ermanni and Edwards.
I can't wait to talk to him. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Braylon catches TDs.
On the slant, there goes Braylon Edwards. Edwards on a foot race, and no one's going to get near him. 80 yards for the touchdown.
Ryan catches Pokemon. We all have our strengths. The bottom line on Woodward Sports.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer.
We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards.
In a second.
You got it, baby.
I'm not
Braylon's out here giving hugs and high fives, kissing babies, shaking hands.
Vaccine boosted, too. Just these are tough times. I'm ready now. That's my apologies.
Sitting center square here, Sean Jordan. He's the CEO of the sports marketing agency. We're so proud to partner up with Sean and his team at the sports marketing agency at Woodward Sports. Sean, thanks so much, my friend. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey,
thanks for having me. I appreciate
excited to have you in here, man. Excited to be a part of Woodward Sports.
It's been a long time coming.
It has. And Sean, listen, Sean hates
thanks.
interviewing. Although he's very well spoken, he's very good. That's that West Point education. But he hates these things, so we'll try to make it as easy and painful as possible.
How about those Black Knights of the Hudson this year?
Great.
See, that's the start.
Great way to end the season,
That's
right?
the way to do it.
Yeah, we had a tough loss to Navy this year, but we came back against Missouri, which is a great win for the Academy, so that's good.
So I actually bet on you guys. I was the only one here to bet on you guys versus Navy, and came through for me this year. Appreciate that.
Hey, Sean, just tell us a little bit about what you do at the sports marketing agency and how our listeners, how the people that watch us might want to take a look at some of the things that you do.
Tell us how it got started.
Yeah.
How did you get started with the sports marketing agency?
So SMA, about 11 years ago, we were marketing for one rehab facility out on the west side of the state of Michigan, and we noticed how using current and former pro athletes, using that platform and that mouthpiece was a great way to destigmatize mental health and substance use disorder issues. And subsequently, that enabled that particular facility to increase their folks going into long-term recovery. So that was really the nexus of it. And now as a marketing company, we represent a couple of toxicology laboratories and a host of other private companies and individuals that we help to really raise awareness and bolster their missions around mental health and SUD. So that's kind of the core of it, but we do a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
And you've been a big part of that.
I have. I actually worked with SMA now for the past 4 years. I've gone on some of these trips where I've talked to Meridian Health. I've talked to Detroit Wayne Health Integrated Network, as well as Oakland Health Network as well, man. As I lend my voice as a former athlete that's seen athletes go down that path of substance abuse or even mental health. Like using mental health more and more, the more we're learning about it each year. We're going on, we're educating, we're talking. So I love working with SMA. Talk about the new campaign right now, the F word. Like, talk about that a little bit.
So I'm super excited about this, and I love sitting in between you guys on this one because Woodward Sports is a fantastic platform and a fantastic partner for us to come together with your platform, your audiences, to talk about the F word. The F word is fentanyl. Right? So we've noticed, I'm sure you've seen it in the media, Fox and other places, how folks are getting into fentanyl that's manufactured. And it's causing a lot of overdoses, a lot of deaths as a result of that. And so we came up with an idea for This is the F Word. It's going to be a monthly podcast that we do in conjunction with you guys here on Woodward Sports. And it's just going to highlight the issues around that. Not just that, but polysubstance abuse overall, like people who may do anti-anxiety medication and then also drink at the same time. Like all those sorts of things that in many instances are a a cascaded effect from mental health issues. So that's where we're coming from. We're going to tell some uplifting stories. We're going to tell some dark stories. We're going to
because
share.
all of that matters, right?
Absolutely.
To hear the good ones, every bit as important as hearing the bad ones, too.
Absolutely. Yep.
Where does the state of Michigan rate to you? How would you characterize the state of Michigan in terms of long-term care facilities, resources to help mental health, people who suffer from mental health disorders, substance use disorders? Where are the resources of the state of Michigan compared to the rest of the country? How would you characterize where we are as a state right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. The folks that we work with are super dedicated. So when I say the folks we work with, Oakland Community Health Network, where Braylon's been involved, Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, hosts of other providers in the community. Bear River, up in Petoskey. We've been all over the state, really trying to use voices like Braylon's to destigmatize mental health and SUD.
Sean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is there is help out there for people if they seek it.
Yes, there is. So that's where I was going with that. Those particular entities like that, those are places that you can go, or folks can go for help. What we do at SMA, we've created over 100 or so pieces of content throughout the years to just guide people in that direction. We do everything from having cinch bags that you've seen before. They're athletic cinch bags, but we call them wellness bags. We'll put doTERRA bags inside that allow people to it dissolves different narcotics inside the bags of drugs, and it's biodegradable. You put it in a regular trash bag. But the point I'm saying is that there are resources out there like Oakland County Health Network, like Detroit Wayne, that have an umbrella of resources for the community. So I don't know necessarily where Michigan ranks as an overall state, but I do know that there's a lot of organic and work going on out here in the community.
It's huge.
And I've actually seen the leveraging working. So, you know, how we met, we talked about 4 years ago when we met, and I went down to an event, an impact group, where he has these impact luncheons a lot of times where he speaks to kids, you speak to women, you speak to children, you speak to anyone in the community that really wants to get the message and understand where we are as a platform as it relates to substance abuse and mental health. And that's how we met. And I really appreciate the message. I really appreciate the vibe, and we started to connect, start going to more of these individual these instances. And I learned about leveraging the athlete, because when I would go speak at Meridian, when I would go speak at Monroe, and I talk to these individuals, they want to listen to me, and the first thing they think is like, oh, that's Braylon Edwards from Michigan. How the hell can he relate? How the hell can he relate to who I am? What is he going to say? Like, he's a millionaire. He has this and the third. And then get out of my business. Get out of my business. And then I tell these individuals, I talk about, you know, at the end of football, I talk about, you know, ending on the injury. When you have an injury, you have painkillers, and you know, when you're cut, when you're no longer playing, it leads to maybe taking them too much, and it leads down the road of maybe other stuff. That's why I got my ass out of Miami. It was a cesspool. So you come back, but I was able to tell them like my story, and now that I related to them, like next time I go speak at Meridian, I know there's more people asking questions. Next time I go to Oakland Health, next time I go to Detroit Wayne Health Integrated Network and I'm the keynote speaker, people want to listen because you're giving that piece of yourself, so you're connected. So leveraging definitely does work, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely. We've actually done a lot, and we're super appreciative of a lot of the work that like Josh Landon has done, Amy Andrews. These folks have loaned their voices to our overall mission, because the thing for SMA is we want to revolutionize how people look at long-term recovery. We want to revolutionize how folks consider the relationships with their Sunday afternoon heroes, right? We want people to say, hey, there but by the grace of God go I, right? Like like Braylon said, it could have been, I could have had a problem, you could have had a problem. There, look what happened to one of the Fox colleagues a few years back. You know, so everybody in some way, shape, form,
there
or
is
fashion.
no one face.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say, Braylon, after you were talking. Like, you're an NFL player, you have 100,000 people rooting for you for several years at Michigan and continue to do so. What do you know about, substance use, mental illness, whatever the case may be? It just goes to show you that this does not discriminate. You could be young, you could be old, you could be white, you could be black,
wealthy,
you could be rich,
poor.
You could be poor. It does not matter.
No respect of person.
Touches everybody and everything.
100%.
To say at the end of the day, with those individuals, no matter where the spectrum are, they need people. They need friends. They need family. They need people around them. We don't want to just let you go and just beat you and badger you down with the mental health stuff. Let's talk about some Cowboy stuff. Let's talk about some Cowboy stuff. Sean yourself played for the Cowboys 4 years, I believe, if I'm correct.
No, I'm an old West Point football player, Army Corps through and through, and I didn't want to be 53 like I am now and be like woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I had some opportunities in the Arena League, in the Canadian League, and with the Cowboys in the NFL. But I will say this: we've been super blessed. I got to say one other thing and send a shout out to Ron Rice, Pete Kerplevich, Tim Walton. The guys here in Detroit have really embraced me and the NFL Alumni Detroit chapter. They've really embraced me and the mission that I have, undertaken with respect to, the mental health and SUD stuff. So I would be remiss to say that we're at this point without a lot of contribution and selfless efforts on their part. So
that's fantastic. Shout out to those guys for sure.
Alum of the year last year, by the way.
Yes, Braylon was alum of the year.
Look at that.
Alum of the year last time.
I told you.
Would you stop it over there?
Sean, great stuff. You like the Cowboys in the playoffs this year?
Good question.
I'm nervous about them.
Who are you nervous about, though? Them or Dak Prescott?
You know what?
It's interesting.
That's an interesting comment, and I'm going to plead the fifth on it. But I will say this.
Just talk about Micah Parsons.
That's a great conversation because I think he'll be a difference maker. I can go there. I think he'll be a difference maker, and I think that, when it gets to, I just saw it earlier today because I hadn't been paying attention that the Packers clinched the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had to walk from my car to here, and I changed hats to come on this set because it's freezing outside. And if you go anywhere to play some football, in this time of year and it's that cold, there's a supreme competitive advantage.
Lambeau. Only problem is, if you look at the results, it doesn't matter if they have home field advantage. He cannot win an NFC championship. So that road to Lambeau thing kind of has an asterisk by it. If I was any team in the NFC, especially like the Rams or something, I wouldn't be nervous because he can't seem to win an NFC.
That's great stuff. Sean, thanks so much. Where do you want you give the website out where people can go for more information?
So we're going to be actually connected to the Woodward Sports network, and our website is www.thesportsma like MikeAlpha.com. But also we have
that West Point coming out,
right?
Mike
military
Alpha, Delta Tango.
Yes, phonetic alphabet. So we also have SMA TV, which will also be available on the Woodward Sports link. So
absolutely love it. Can't wait for this partnership to begin, and it is already underway.
It has begun.
Shout out to the fellas in the back. Absolutely. Thanks so much.
This is the F word. This is the F word.
This is the F word. Sean Jordan, everybody, CEO of the sports marketing agency, live in studio with us. And you
got to say the, or he'll kill you. He always kills me.
We're going to take a break. Come right back. Ermanni and Edwards.
Thanks a lot,
Sports
guys.
Network, the bottom line.
Thanks, guys.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
Hey gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is wicked awesome. Look, this place, I went about the place today, and I was talking to the fellows I was talking to a guy getting a hot lather neck shave, a shampoo, a haircut. They all said the same thing, that this place is freaking wicked awesome. That's right. And they're available, right? The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Availability, open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., several locations throughout Metro Detroit.
Wasn't that about a month ago where you came in last minute and got it done right before the show?
I was
they were available for
handsome
you.
And clean. Ooh-wee, let me tell you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, several locations throughout Metro Detroit. Also, around the country. So no matter where you're listening, there's a Lady Jane's near you. Walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you're done. 10 to 8, 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome. There you go. Wicked. Oh, look at Tom Mazawey with the wicked awesome now. Hey, guys, the NFL, and by the way, that was absolutely great stuff. I am really excited to get in tune with what Sean Jordan is doing and everybody at the sports marketing agency.
How about that commercial with Braylon and
really
the Sunday
excited
Best?
about it.
I went in for a one-off. Like I'm being honest. So what happens is from time to time, NFL alumni, which he talked about with Tim and Pete, they'll reach. And Ron used to be the president. He's no longer, but he's still heavily involved. You know, they'll reach out from time to time if they have events, and they'll try to get players to come on, whether it's Herman, Lomas, Calvin, myself, Stephen Tulloch, guys that are in the area, and it may be, go speak at this, or it may be, here's a night function, we need a player. There's always these things that come to your doorstep, and a lot of times I say no, I just don't feel like doing things. But this came to my doorstep, and I say, you know what, that's some cool stuff. Did some more research on mental health, some addiction stuff, did some research, plus the stuff that I knew from the NFL, and went to that one event. And it turned into 4.5 years later, so it's good stuff.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Guys, I want to get back into the NFL now because the NFL has a new COVID policy for the playoffs.
Whoa.
It is
shocking.
It is a backup
Starters
plan.
don't test?
No, it is a backup plan for the Super Bowl, a backup plan for the postseason. So this just in. This is who is it from? I want to give the guy credit.
Arash Makazi.
Yes, thank you. California's indoor mask mandate was set to expire on January 15th. It has been extended to February 15th. The Super Bowl scheduled to take place February 13th at SoFi Stadium, but the NFL is looking at a possible alternate venue for the Super Bowl. I don't believe they want their fans in masks at the stadium.
They don't. Jerry World has been
AT&T
offered.
in Arlington, Texas. AT&T Stadium. That sounds like an absolute mess. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Why?
How can you change the Super Bowl from California to Dallas?
Yeah, they do it all the time. Like college football, they'll change games.
But this is a Super Bowl. You spent 5 years planning this event. You're going to change it in 2 weeks?
Jerry said he can do it. If Jerry says he can do it, that's all that matters, doesn't it?
I mean, is all of this over a mask mandate? Is that what this is over?
Maybe it's a backup. California was very serious in 2020 when COVID came out. Like, they weren't letting anybody travel in, anybody travel out. And I think they're getting back to that point, and I think that's why people are nervous. Just in case that's where the state goes, they want to have a backup plan.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If the state gets crazy,
and what better place than a place that doesn't care? In Texas.
Seriously,
but the cases in Texas are way up too. But they're still gonna open their door.
But what's 1 and 2 right now? Michigan and Jersey.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You got me. I've been in both.
Where's Florida and Texas on that list? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I think Detroit has a lot of unaccounted for people in the census, as well as last year, Michigan was the number 1 moved into state during COVID. I don't know why, but number 1 moved in state to last year was state of Michigan.
A lot of people from Chicago moved over to the west side of the state. I know that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people moved into the city. I don't know. I anticipate, and we talked about this yesterday, I don't think there's going to be one impact player to miss a playoff game due to COVID. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Unless they get really sick.
Unless they're really sick.
Yeah.
And I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe we've had a situation where an NFL player has been that sick from any of this in order to miss games. We've seen players vomit and throw up that have not had COVID,
right? The flu.
That have had the flu, and they've
or maybe
played
it's
that.
Flurona.
Flu Rona.
That's the new one now.
That
The Flu Rona.
The Flu Rona.
And they have come back and they have played. And again, we mentioned C.J. Stroud the week of Ohio State. Not COVID, but he was thrown up all week. At least that's what the reports were.
I don't think you'll see anybody seriously impacted in terms of NFL teams. I mean, the one thing you could do look at the teams in the playoffs, look at what cities and states there and see how their COVID cases stack up. But the reason why you won't see that is towards the beginning, the middle of the football season, they really made a mandate talking about each specific franchise, organization, head coach, president, owner. They made it clear to their players, look, what are we here for? We're here to play football. Like, if you can't sacrifice 5 months to do a job to get you paid. Like, I've been in these conversations before, and it was not about a pandemic. It was just about staying the hell out the club. It was about, paying attention what's going on in front of you.
Man, I wish I would have hung with you back in the day, Braylon, going to the club.
New York was, let's just say this, New York was a hell of a place.
I want to hang with Braylon.
But not that. Now we still have time. We still have time. But now you're in the space where you got all this going on, and you're an owner and you're a coach, and you're telling your players, like, you guys can't just come to practice and go home to your family. And if you don't have a family, then move your brother in with you. Move your cousin up. Because we have one job, and that's to win the Super Bowl. So stay your ass out of the restaurants because there's DoorDash. Stay your ass out of the club. Stay your ass out of the shopping store. Everything you can do from home nowadays. So if you're not going to be committed to us, why the hell are we committed to you? And once you have these conversations, you make individuals be like, man, they have a point. And then when you get your core veteran Pro Bowlers and stars and leaders on board, now you as a young guy are like, you know what? I got to do what they say. That's why you don't see cases, because they go to work, they come to practice, they go to work, and they go home.
Look, you're not wrong on this point, because I'll tell you, if you would have said to do that at the beginning of the season, I would have said, it's a good thought, but it's really difficult to do for 4 months. But at the very worst, you're asked to do it for 4 weeks as an NFL player. And that's only 2 teams. I mean, at this point, you're going to have a week-to-week situation for these teams in the playoffs. You go home, you go to practice, and that's it. There's nothing in between. Because if you can't give me 1 week, next week these teams are in the playoffs. The season's over on Sunday. And then it's the playoff ball. If you can't go 1 week just staying at home, practice facility. Home, practice facility. I don't want to see pictures of social media, of restaurants, of gas stations.
And
Make your wife go get the gas.
And I guarantee you, man, there's some disciplinary action that they are taking amongst the teams inside closed doors. Has nothing to do with the NFL, has nothing to do with the finable offenses, as they call them. This is something in-house where I guarantee they're like, hey, if we catch a player at set place, or we see you and we have proof, like, yo, you got to put $5,000 in the pot. Or you can't play. They can't tell them you can't play, but it's like, hey, you got to put $5,000 in the pot. And I guarantee you'll get guys on board like, you know what? I'm committed. If I'm any team that's in the running, especially a Tennessee Titans, especially a Patriots, a Bills, a LA Rams, especially the LA Rams, where they are, and they say 5,000, you know what? I agree. Put 5,000 in if you're sneaking out. For what?
Yeah, at this point, there's just too much at stake.
The NFL will get it right.
Yeah, they will, because
they always do.
They're the best league in the country.
Just bring in Greg Williams. He gets guys in line.
Guys, speaking of guys in line, what's happening in college football, where the line up is just, maybe a bad transition, but this transfer portal is a free-for-all. We'll show you what Charlie Batch said, what TJ Lang said about trying to get Caleb Williams to Eastern Michigan University. The Oklahoma quarterback, Ermanni Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports. Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, it's Maz for the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. That's right. Our good friends Chris and Noni Hutt, the proprietors and the inventor of folding. What's folding? It's throwing football at bowling pins. Knock them all down. Your team wins. Take home the prize. Lots of plays to play as well. You can host your corporate party, a team building event. Just come in with family and friends. You can have $10 unlimited play. That means you can come in right when they open. You can stay till they close. Do it that way, or you can have a private lane reservation as well. They got over 100 beers, the $2 mystery beer machine, multiple full bars. They're stacked. You can bring your own food in as well. Have it delivered. Have it your way at the Folding Warehouse. Come get your fold on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
Guys, I want to talk to you about this transfer portal. Caleb Williams, the Oklahoma quarterback, really sent the college football world into a frenzy when he basically said he's entering the transfer portal. He is not ruling out a return to Oklahoma, but he's going to see what his options are. In other words, who is going to pay me the most money to play college football at your university? Well, there is one taker. That taker is Charlie Batch and Eastern Michigan. Charlie Batch, a former Lions quarterback, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, former Eastern Michigan quarterback, says, hey, Caleb, have you considered Eastern Michigan? If not, you should. Game Above Capital is prepared to pay you $1 million for 1 year. Are you ready to be an Eagle?
Wow.
And then he tags ESPN, CBS Sports, NBC Sports, Fox Sports, Barstool Sports, Max Sports, and Fox Sports 1.
He forgot to tag us.
So he put it out there. TJ Lang, the former Detroit Lion, former Green Bay Packer, one of our favorites as well, he followed up, and he is doubling up. Times are a-changing for EMU. You miss 100% of the opportunities you don't take. We are all the way in. And he had another tweet. Whether we like NIL or not, the landscape of college football is changing. Us at EMU and Game Above Capital are 100% committed to using our resources to build a special program. The $1 million offer to Caleb Williams is just the beginning. Stay tuned.
Wow.
Two things. One, good for Eastern Michigan. Love this for Eastern Michigan. Two, I hate this for college football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comfortable with it yet. I will probably get comfortable with it one day, but I'm not there yet. And maybe it's because that's not the way it has been. You know, we have this vision in our minds that these are still student athletes that go to school and they work hard and they develop a relationship and a rapport with the university and want to go play for a coach and want to go play for a program and win a championship all together, one for all for one, and you move forward. This is just a free-for-all, free agent frenzy in college football, and I'm not sure if I'm here for it yet.
It's just like you might as well just call it just call it football.
Yeah,
it's not college football anymore if this is the way it's going to be. This is by the way. Great advertising by that company. And what is that company, again, that Charlie Batch has quoted? Whatever that company
Game Above Capital.
Free advertising. They lose nothing by doing this. And not only that, if Caleb Williams doesn't come to Eastern, he probably won't. Other kids are going to see this.
Yep.
They just might.
Puts Eastern Michigan on the map.
It sure does.
So the first thing I would say about that is, like, don't go to the, well, when I think about going to class and kid and the purity. The hell with that, because they've been profiting off of said 18-year-old kid, and our next guest can speak about that as well.
I'm not saying you're wrong there.
No, because I'm on your team as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, so don't think about it that way. Think about it the same way. It's a business.
I've been a big pay these guys for a long time.
You're right. I'm just saying it's been a business for a very long time. So now that it's this way, It's purely business. But with that being said, yeah, it's great for Eastern Michigan because it's an opportunity to level the playing field. No one's going to Eastern Michigan at first crack, especially a 5, especially a 4. But, you get the 3s and maybe I get the offers and they go there. I was a 3. I was looking for a place to go until Michigan came in the 25th hour. But now by now showing that you're committed to getting players there the right way, not illegal, the right way, man, I take my head off to TJ Lang. I take my hat off to Eastern Michigan and Charlie Batch, former Detroit Lion, because you're going to get some kids who's like, shoot, you know what? I'll go to Eastern.
Here's what you do if you're Eastern Michigan. If you really want to be a big player in this, you take that $1 million from Game Above Capital and you put it towards the facilities. Because if you really want to get guys like Caleb Williams, they're going to have an expectation of facility like they do at Oklahoma, at Michigan State, and the like. Take that $1 million, really put a down payment on your football program, and try to build facilities that match the talent of these well-trained college athletes.
I agree. I ran track. Matter of fact, my birthday, when I cut my hair, I grew my hair out. My freshman, my sophomore, my junior year, had a big fro. Ran track in the wintertime. Ran indoor track. Ran track. Went down those facilities. Their indoor track was hard as nail. The basketball court was coming up planks wide. Like the facilities, I've been to that field. Literally, the field is like the Silver Dome, but it's lopsided. It's uneven. Those facilities are the same that they were when I was in college, the same as they are now, and the same when I was even in high school. So, to your point, you got to show somebody something. Like part of the mystique when you go on these recruiting trips or when you visit, whether it's a non-official visit, whether it's an official visit, is 100% when you said, when you walk into a place, it's supposed to feel like a cathedral. It's supposed to feel like, like you open up the weight room doors, you open up the doors of Schembechler. Like it wasn't that way for a long time in Michigan. They got it right. But to your point, put the money in the facility. Because that's the first thing you see when you walk in.
They changed the field. It's the factory.
Yeah, it is.
It's got the great field.
And I love their coach,
like
Chris Creighton.
Yeah.
I love their coach. Yeah. I remember watching that press conference years ago when he was hired at EMU. I wanted to run through the wall myself.
He reminds me of D'Antonio a little.
He was after Ron English.
Ron English, Michigan defensive coordinator.
I will say this, though, too. And this is going to sound really stupid, and I don't know if I fully believe this, because if you equate this to the New York Yankees, to the Detroit Red Wings when they were signing all those players, they got anybody they wanted, the Detroit Red Wings in hockey, and won Stanley Cups because of it. The New York Yankees get anybody they want in baseball, signing Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. I guess they're all Stanton was a trade and Judge was a draft pick.
Martinez.
But you know what I'm saying. There's something unsavory about just buying championships. I'm saying that, but I don't.
Still got to work, man. You can bring them in, but it's still got to work.
Yeah, I guess if it's been a long.
The starting point is different, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying like the University of Michigan, man. I mean, you're trying to compete against Ohio State.
As soon as they catch up, they change the rules.
Well, you're trying to compete against Ohio State, and you're doing it one way. You think you're doing it the right way, whatever that means. And then all of a sudden they change the rules, and you're like, well, we don't have to do it that way anymore. Let's go buy 6 or 7 of these guys.
Well, they've been doing it down south. It's just not legal.
It's not legal. Let's go buy 6 or 7 of these guys, give them $1 million a piece, and let's go beat Ohio State. Is that really how you want to win? And I can hear people watching this right now being like, yeah. And I think I'm kind of there as well. I will get there. I'm just not there yet. It's just taken me a minute for and I hate the word purity of college athletics, because I'm not the ones whose lives who's being affected. You know what I mean? Like
I get it. It's corny, but it's true. It's cliche,
it's
but
corny, but it's true.
It's corny, but it's true. We've done it a certain way at University of Michigan forever. And you can bring up the Marcus Ray incident with the suit. That was a bullshit thing anyway. But hey, we got past that one incident in years. in years. Other teams have been buying championships for a very long time. I know for a fact, talking to former players in the NFL that were my teammates, I hear the stories about what the SEC did for them.
What about Bill Self?
I hear the story about what happened at USC. I hear about Kansas. I hear about Memphis. You hear about Kentucky. So they've been doing it for a very long time, and we know it. But now that it's out in the open and you can do it too, you're just used to that stigma of what we've done. It's going to change just like everything does in terms of your mindset.
Rick Pitino picked up Jimmy King in a convertible Cadillac when he went on his trip. I mean, it's been going on for forever, man.
And no doubt, look, Jim Harbaugh, to me, is not leaving the University of Michigan.
No.
I can't say that 100% certain. I cannot say that Jim Harbaugh is not leaving the University of Michigan with 100% certainty. But what I can tell you is I believe Jim Harbaugh will be the coach at Michigan. I think what's going on now, this little leak here about being open to the NFL, okay, who's not open to anything, is all about just making sure Michigan is lined up with everything. Make sure that Michigan is lined up with paying me. Make sure that Michigan is lined up with paying my assistant coaches who, if you are good, and you'll see Alabama, your assistant coaches will be on a rotating spot. Every year or every 2 years, you're going to have new coordinators if you're good. And to make sure your university is lined up to pay millions and millions of dollars to NIL deals for college athletes. That's what this is all about. And this is proof positive that college football is here now when you've got open tweets telling guys we'll give you $1 million if you're here.
In 2000, there was a player by the name of Marquise Hill. Marquise Hill was committed to go to the University of Michigan. He was a D tackle. Marquise Hill decided in the 25th hour that he wasn't going to Michigan, and the reason why is because LSU gave his mom a house, LSU gave him a car. So he decided to opt out. Hell, I would have opted out too. He goes to LSU. They win a national championship 4 years later. Rest in peace, because he was a New England Patriot player that died on the infamous boat that years ago. But literally, Marcus Spears told me the story. Marquise himself told me the story. He was all set to go to the University of Michigan, and LSU came with a Denali and a house. I would have left too.
No
Blue
doubt.
chips, baby.
Blue chips, baby. Blue chips out front. Guys, we're going to be joined by Derrick Walton Jr. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
That's right.
What's up, man? Welcome.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Guys, I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. And I will tell you, we are very excited about this. Yesterday, GM unveiled the new electric Chevrolet Silverado priced at $39,900 for a work truck all the way up to $105,000 for the luxury model. Those babies are going to go fast. Reservations are now open at Chevy.com. Chevy.com for the reservations on that. Les Stanford is going to have one of the largest allocations for this all-new Silverado, so make sure you get in line at Les Stanford Chevrolet. Get in line. GM, the all-new electric Silverado. Are you kidding me? I know Braylon wants one of those bad boys.
Hell yeah.
You can power up your house with that thing.
Run into a house.
Make sure you get in line at Les Stanford Chevrolet, Chevy.com.
Find new roads, baby.
There you go. All right, look at him. He's in the middle. Center square, the great Derrick Walton Jr., former University of Michigan guard. The great triple-double last night for the Motor City Cruise. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you?
Good. You feeling good? You sore today? Now, do you wake up a little bit with a little bit better bounce in your step after a triple-double like that, or how does that work?
I wake up a little more sore for sure. I tell you that. That's all it really is. I wake up a lot more tired than I was the night before.
Yeah, but watching the success of the Pistons right now, man, like, what are you switching gears? Because I want to ask you about them and then go back to your game last night. Mm-hmm. What do you contribute to the success that they're having? Seeing everybody being down COVID, having to rework the lineups, like, how it is playing with different lineups. That's tough. So, and the success that they're having, they lost the last one, but they won 2 before that. What do you contribute that success to?
Man, like anything, playing sports is about chemistry. So, like, the more time you get together, obviously, the better product y'all will be when it's time to perform. And then, like you said, COVID has been crazy the last probably 4 or 5 weeks. So, guys been playing with multiple lineups. But that's, being honest, it's just a young team. Like, experience is the only way you can get better. And obviously, they're making strides at whatever pace they want it to be at. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what that is, but I still see, big things coming and a lot of things to be proud for going forward.
Derrick, talk about the opportunity that you had last week. I think it was the Spurs you guys beat, the Sadiq Bey 3 and the assist on that one. What was it like for you to be in that Pistons uniform, growing up here in Detroit and just getting that opportunity? Your stick-to-itiveness in this, you can play, and to get that opportunity, what's that like?
First and foremost, it was I try not to I try to stay in the moment. I don't really try to let everything that's surrounding kind of cloud, because obviously it's still a job to be done. So it's like I really don't relish and kind of think about it until like times like this where you ask me. So in the moment, it's just trying to make a play, like trying to make the right play, and then so happen it is that. But obviously, I know what I'm capable of. I mean, I kind of figured this would be the pathway, and I was cool with it. It's just the MO of my family, who I am. It just, I understand, some stuff don't come as fast as it needs to for yourself, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'd had some great moments already, so I really don't hang my head about anything.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't hang my head about nothing.
You're a Detroiter. You know what I'm saying? Like, your energy right now, just listen to it. Like, it reminds me of what it means to be from Detroit. Like, we will get it done. We will find a way. Like, it's going to happen. Yeah. We know it's going to take some time, but it's going to happen always for us Detroiters. You talked about great moments. Let's jump in the DeLorean real quick and go back. Talk about the infamous just senior year, because you're one of the best leaders in Michigan basketball history in terms of being a leader. You definitely were a leader of that team 2 years in a row. You just really took the mantle and ran with it. Right. Talk about the infamous plane crash that led to the Big Ten championship win in the playoffs, man. I mean, in the tournament.
That's funny. I just was we was boarding a plane, probably like we was going to San Antonio, and like one of the guys that drug the plane off the runway was like one of the that was like, I don't even want to think about it, but it was crazy, to be honest. Like I ain't talked about it in a minute, but it was crazy just because I told myself the entire day something was off. It was just like a windstorm. It was just a whole bunch of just peculiar events leading up to it. But to be a part of it and what transpired, I wouldn't change anything. It's just that last couple weeks of that year, it kind of felt like destiny, to be honest. But just was trying to obviously make the most out of the moment. Just with that happening, just trying to maximize each and every day, because that's nothing I can even explain. Like feelings, emotions, all that was ridiculous, honestly.
Talking about 2017, planes flew off the runway before they were en route to Maryland, I believe, for the Big Ten tournament. Yeah. Michigan would end up playing with their practice jerseys and end up winning it all. And the reason I asked that question, Ryan, I'll let you jump in next to ask the question, is people, if they don't see like tragedy, like if they don't see like the end, like they have problem putting things into like like words, or putting things like a perspective. Like when they see it, it's like, oh, well, nothing happened. They got on the plane, they good, they won. But you don't, in that moment, that trauma, the things that you go through your head, that's something that people can't jump into. That's why I asked the question.
How closely do you pay attention to the University of Michigan still? I mean, I know you got your own game going that you're working on and everything, but how close do you pay attention to them?
I try to stay as connected as possible. Like I was actually. Jawan was with my assistant coach, my rookie
in Miami.
Yeah, so like that's a tie, and then there's a bunch of other guys that I know on the team in different ways and form. But like I try to stay connected as much as possible when the time permits it. For sure.
Will they get it right this year? I mean, it looks like they're struggling right now.
it's a young team. Like I'm saying,
because I always think a key to a college basketball successful team is having a good point guard.
Yeah.
If you have and not to knock who they have right now, but if you have an upperclassman for a point guard, somebody that can protect the ball, lead, set everybody up, you're in line for success. And I'm not sure they have that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I don't. I wouldn't want to go into that.
Yeah,
that part
right.
of it,
No, I know because we're not trying to knock down anybody.
But overall, it's a different team. Like that position kind of gets thrown by the wayside. It's a difficult position. I can say obviously from experience, and then the way it's been the last 2 years, it's been people that kind of in a sense haven't played for a program or like a university that like kind of take that much pride into sports. So kind of. Sometimes I can honestly say it probably is a little whirlwind. It's shocking. It's a lot. Your games are a lot more televised than you probably used to, and then it comes with a lot. So it's normal. I can say I was nervous my freshman year too. So
how much? Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
No, I was gonna say like when I look at this team, I look at what they had last year and they're gonna have this year. Isaiah Livers, who's your return teammate, he's a 5-year player and played at a high level. He's a leader. Yeah. He had been there in the strum with those guys. You miss out on him. You miss out on Franz Wagner. People don't realize how cold Franz was until he's no longer there. Yeah. This team reminds me of when you go to the national championship year in 2013. You go national championship, then they lose Trey Burke, they lose T-Dub, they lose G-Rod. You lose all that fast, and then the next year you turn around and lose Stauskas, then you lose Mitch, and then you lose everybody. And now it's D-Walt, and you're trying to figure it out. Yeah. Like that's essentially what I look at this team is they've lost a lot and they're trying to figure it out this year. That's kind of essential. So that would be what 2014 team. Yeah, I think this is like the 2014 team.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting back to your career and what you got going on now, how much interaction do you have with John Beilein, who's employed by the Detroit Pistons now?
He just called me probably 10 minutes ago.
Really?
I swear. He probably called me. I just missed his call. Let me see if he got another one.
What's that like to have your former college coach be the advisor for the team, for the organization that you play for?
It's kind of... Honestly, I don't think of it no any other way. Like, me and him got a great relationship. It's like when I see him, we hug, we say what's up. We know each other in different ways. So, like, even in, like, give me pointers or stuff. Like, obviously, he know my game to the T. So, it's like I still go to him for certain advice. And then he still think he my coach. So, it's like it's a hand-to-hand thing.
You don't go to him when you don't want to hear it.
Oh, no, definitely not.
You know you like, nah, he going to tell me the truth. I don't want to hear it now.
Yeah, he cutthroat with it, too.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, D-Wall, you from, you know what I'm saying, you're from Detroit. Went to Michigan, and now here you are currently sitting on the Michigan's, on Detroit Pistons team. Like, I don't want to say is that the plan because it can't be the plan, but is this a good plan? Like, is this like when you were a kid, you're looking at the Fab Five, or you're looking at the Fab Five Part 2 with Track and Mo Taylor, and then you're looking at the Pistons, you're looking at the Go to Work Pistons 04. Like, is this kind of like, dang, like I'm doing what I looked at as a kid?
Yes, like it's crazy because all this stuff, I kind of just remember in hindsight. I just look at stuff in hindsight, like how now I kind of think about how I am kind of tied to a lot of the stuff that's going on. Like J. Rose and C. Webb played for the same AAU team as me. I got the chance to play at the same university. Now being able to, play for the Pistons, C. Webb play for the Pistons, it's like...
I'm 84.
Yeah, it's just like, it's kind of like, I didn't think about it growing up, but now I kind of like see the impact on everything I've ever accomplished now at this level because... In the moment, like I said, when you got so much stuff going on and you focus on trying to get stuff done, it's hard to just kind of like sit back and relish and even kind of like give yourself a round of applause or a pat on the back. It's just like you want to get this done and keep going. But now that I think about, like you said, it's just like, it's like I don't think anybody else could even dream of something like this. It's like a real dream, honestly.
Ryan, Maz, and I were real heavy on right before the New Year, right before the Christmas break. We took a week off. We were real heavy on what? Patting on the back, taking a second to step back and receive it. I'm gonna tell you this, brother. Take a second.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Derrick, I want to ask you about the G League itself. You've been to Miami, been in LA, now you're here in Detroit. How's the G League gyms compare? How's the facilities here in Detroit?
Oh, here. Oh man. Yeah. Top of the line.
Yeah.
It's like if you know what the kind of like the NBA process is and the ranks and how stuff work. This is kind of like the best of the best. I don't think it's anything comparable. It allows a lot of people to be kind of a lot more comfortable because you got a lot of things to do. Most times I'm pretty sure people in cities where it's not major cities, so it's kind of a ducked off city. It's not really anything to get out and clear your mind from basketball. So like this is a city, obviously you can get out and do some things, and then like you said before, like this facility at the top of the line is. I just said there's no situation that you can compare it to. Yeah, no, it's really good.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Outside of Derrick Walton Jr., what teammate from the Motor City Cruise would you say that Detroit Pistons fans need to start paying attention to?
Ooh, there you go.
And if there's two, you can't name the whole team.
Yeah. Give us three.
You can give us two.
Yeah, you can give us,
just based on like with basketball is intangibles and all the stuff like that. I think Trayvon Palmer's a guy people probably need to pay more attention to. Obviously dudes like Jalen Johnson, just dudes that are like bigger and skilled. It's like I think what people get and I had to think about this too. I said this like as I'm getting older, I kind of realize this. I think what people get kind of confused with. Yeah, like
God
people
bless
get
you.
confused with
26
is that,
years old, getting older.
Yeah, I feel like I've been around.
Look at the room you're in.
But no, just I think people get confused with the fact that there's only so many spots, so many roster spots. So like a situation where a guy is talented enough to be in what we know as the NBA and he's not, it's not a knock to anything about him or anything. It's just sometimes it just don't fit. You know what I mean? Just so I kind of, like I said, I got older and realized, like, this basketball is an international sport. Like, people are really talented. It's like, just where you are right now doesn't kind of define who you are or the talent that you have. It's like, that's why I said, dudes on our G League team actually bring stuff to the game that's actually, that attributes to winning. So that's the type of person I am. So I pay attention to it as much as I'm pretty sure a guy who pays attention to sports would.
Yeah.
How about all these old guys coming back in the NBA getting these deals?
Mario Chalmers, Lance Stevenson, Joe Johnson.
Enough with them. I want to see you.
I mean, I got nothing but respect for the OGs. Nothing but respect for the OGs. I never disrespect the OGs.
Smart man.
I'm just glad that they get an opportunity. Sometimes situations happen where they, their careers derail just because of stuff that's off the court.
Sure.
So it's always good to see people get opportunities again.
Last thing from me, I want to ask you about this, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's more of a paraphrasing. Aaron Caruso, now the Bulls, used to play for the Lakers.
Okay.
He was in the D League at the time, I believe it was, and he said one of the reasons for his success is, he said when he came up from the D League to play for the Lakers. He understood that they wanted the role of a janitor. They didn't want him to be the CEO out there of the company. They wanted him to do the dirty work and be the scrapper and be the defender and spot up it. He was just he knew the role he had to play and he played it. And he said so many guys that come from the D League, the G League, when they get their opportunity, they think they have to be everything. It is so hard for players to stay within themselves. Would you agree with that assessment? How would you characterize what he said? I mean, here's a guy that caught on and stayed in the league and ultimately got paid by the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean,
do you see that from other guys?
It's a tough balance. I can honestly say because at the end of the day, it's your job. You know what I mean? So like you want to do as best as you possibly can. Obviously, put your best foot forward, but sometimes the opportunity that you're given doesn't entail for you to be able to show your full skill set.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
that's
like
exactly the point.
And like I said, I'm all about winning. So like whatever team I know I play on, I play the exact same role. I do the exact same thing and I think it's the non-negotiable. Just like playing hard, being a good teammate overall, and then just essentially just trying to do everything that you possibly can to win. So yeah, I agree. Like it is guys who get lost in what actually is the reality of your role won't be. It's guys already. They found the best guys. They found the best guys for the job. It's not like they didn't miss you. It's like but overall, I think the guys who get it are the guys who are. We always talk about their stories. Obviously.
All right. Last question for me. What you listening to on the whip right now? What you
I'm a diverse one. I'm diverse. I go. It depends on the vibe. Like early mornings,
You was on the way to Woodward Sports just now. What was you listening to? Fresh off a trip, Dub.
Fresh off the trip.
Casey Kasem.
70s on 7.
I've been heavy on the Detroit rap lately.
Okay.
Like I've been listening to a lot of Detroit. I've been listening to some Baby Money.
Okay.
Some Babyface Ray. But obviously I always listen to like the Drakes, the Little Babies. I'm no different than them.
I wanted to go to that show, like the big Christmas show. I wanted to go just because like I'm starting to get in that. Berkeley. Berkeley's into all that stuff. So Berkeley catch me up. I'm like basic. I'm like Drake. J. Cole.
Yeah.
I'm like Drake and J.
I
Cole.
want to go a little
Wallet.
baby with you guys. You and me, you come on.
Babyface
I
Ray.
want to go with you. Take me.
We should have took
Come
you.
on, we pull up. We got it.
I want to go to
We'll take
Babyface.
you.
Yeah, we'll pull up with it. We'll take you. We'll take you. Yeah, we'll take you.
That Christmas show would have been live. He would have lost his mind.
Yeah, he for sure with it.
Derrick Walton,
Babyface
guys.
is the man.
Get out of here, man.
Babyface brain.
Stop.
Love Kenny Edmonds. Loved him.
You're not talking about that one, man.
Let's go. Take you behind the woodshed.
Nah, I'm gonna let it happen. This is fun.
Derrick Walton, great stuff. And by the way, Derrick, one of the great guys out here, always has a camp every summer for the kids in the area. We'll get you on in advance of that this year
course. I
too.
appreciate that,
Absolutely.
man.
Derrick
Thank you.
Walton Jr. Everybody, tell your old man I said hello too, will you?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Go blue.
Absolutely.
Always.
Go blue.
Always.
All right, we'll
Michigan
be back.
Michigan State this Saturday. Michigan State. Don't do that. It's good. All it takes is one win.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line. That's
Go
different
blue,
sport.
baby.
Different sports.
They need Derrick.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts,
Hey,
have been for over 90 freaking years. You see that black and yellow out in front of your house? It says stay out.
I saw another truck today.
A good defense on and off the field that helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm, state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring. Also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide, even going to let you lock and unlock your doors. All you got to do is call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Hey, we talked about that this year.
1-800.
What the hell was that? That's not what we talked about.
Oh.
I need it again.
Call 1-800-STAY OUT.
Stay out.
Stay out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of my house. Stay out.
You better get out of here, babyface.
Mess.
He's the best.
Kevon Edwards.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. By the way, before we move on to our next topic, can I just say I love Derrick Walton Jr. I mean, is he like
What a down-to-earth kid, man.
Oh, God.
What I will say is, man, I really appreciate him, like, because I reached out to him yesterday after the show. I said, hey, and this is before the triple-double. I said, hey, man, you want to come? And it was no, like, it wasn't any small talk. Usually you got a small talk, guys. Hey, man, how you been? You know, what's been going on? And, oh, yeah, how's the family doing? Happy holiday. Hey, thing, you think you might want to? Like, you got to go through that. And I do it because you should. Man, D-Wall was like, look, I'm on. Just let me know when and where to be. I was like, man, we need more people like that.
How about John Beeline calling him 10 minutes ago?
That's good.
Is that great?
Sounds like somebody I know. Sounds like somebody I know.
Lloyd?
Hey, how's the show? I mean, you're not on it, but it's going all right.
That's Stan.
That's Lloyd.
Oh, God. I love it. I love it. Chef Chris Smith says Ryan with the dad jeans drip at the concert.
Hey, that's real. The dad jean, I'm telling you, the dad jean drip. There's nothing wrong with that, man. We went to a concert together. We got to run it back.
That's
we
right.
Gotta make it
we got to
make it like twice a year.
Yes,
like
I'm in.
Remember, like once in the first 6 months and then one in the second.
I'm in. We got to do it.
Get Ryan in on it this time.
Guys, I want to do a little Antonio Brown.
Okay.
You can't do a little.
Well, we're going to do a lot of Antonio Brown because there is a lot to discuss. And I'm just going to go through this.
Can I start with this?
You may start. It's your show.
No. This is our show. This is
it's
me and
okay,
Miss
but
our
you
show.
know what I mean.
I want to start with this, and then we can get into it. Stop saying, and this isn't you, this isn't Mass. Stop saying that Tom Brady is Antonio Brown's guardian angel. And let me tell you why. I hate this conversation. I hate the statement. I hate the phrase. He is not his guardian angel. Okay, what a guardian angel is someone that does something for it, the kid or the person beneath them, helps them out when they have nothing to gain from it. If somebody's about to get hit by a car and I pull them back off the curb, I'm their guardian angel. I had nothing to gain by saving this individual. I saved him because it was a good thing to do. He's not his guardian angel. What he is he's an individual that saw another individual that is damn good at his job, that could help out the situation in Tampa Bay. He saw a guy that reminded him of Wes Welker, but way better. Reminded him of Julian Edelman, but way better. He knew he needed this guy on his team. He knew he could get him for cheap. It's called cheap labor. We know we can get you for cheap. I can benefit from your success, and you can benefit from me as well. It was a mutual benefit. He is not his guardian angel. Please, people, stop saying that.
I will say, without Tom Brady, though, Antonio Brown would have never been back in the NFL.
Okay, but I don't
know about the guardian angel
I
stuff.
agree with that, but he's made tons of money. Like, he's made tons of money, and he would have been good. He's an individual that would have been good. He wouldn't have a Super Bowl. He wouldn't have had another season to show you what he can do. But he's not his guardian angel. He's someone that saw a situation and helped him. Quick story. I couldn't get into a club in Vegas one time. I was in VIP line. I saw Venus and Serena in the same line. Neither one of us could get in. Keep in mind, Serena had just won Wimbledon. She's waiting in the same VIP line. You know what I saw? I didn't see the winner of Wimbledon. I saw an opportunity. I went up to the VIP host. I said, I can't believe you have Venus and Serena. She just won Wimbledon. Her sister won Wimbledon the year before that. And you got the waiting in line. These are my clients. Then I went over to Venus and Serena and I said, hey, look, I'm Braylon Edwards. I play for the Browns, but that doesn't matter. Just follow me. And we got in the club. I saw opportunity.
I love this.
Did you get her on the show? I see an opportunity right now.
I want Serena.
There it is. We are friends. She always is very charitable to the women's event that my mother did every year. So they still.
Did you watch King Richard?
I did. Will Smith, King Richard. I think the girls in that movie did exceptional. I think Will Smith did a good job as well.
All right,
and
guys.
his wife was phenomenal.
I want to get back on schedule here time-wise, so I'm going to take another break, 30 seconds. When we come back, Antonio Brown, the latest, the text chain that he released publicly today between he and Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians then responding today at the podium. We'll have it all for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Start your new year with a new network. Woodward Sports Network is here.
Sorry, gang.
It's all good.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
What's the matter? That 5-second break wasn't enough for you?
I mean,
3.5.
I'm just trying to chew some ice over here. The 10-second break that I got was now. I don't even know why we call it a break.
Why it's not even a
Why do
break?
I even call it a break? The break. I should call it a 10-second pause.
It's called station
Should I
identification.
call it a 10-second? Let's pause now.
That's all.
That's what I'm going to start saying.
Do a gym dance.
That's what I'm saying. Let's pause.
Isn't
now.
that the phrase? Let's pause for station
Right.
identification.
Yes.
I will tell you, the one amongst many, like one of the main reasons to watch us, if you want sports talk,
Because we're goofy.
is because it's just straight through.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
there's
is true.
really there's no 5-6 minute commercial
You don't
breaks.
have time to change the channel.
No,
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, on this stuff, you don't get. I mean, how many times you watch a YouTube video and you just can't wait for that 5-second to skip ad?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're trying to provide for you. We're trying to skip ahead all these breaks for you. So there you go.
If you try to skip, it won't work. But just stay with us. And
man.
like you did,
And we're
skip.
back.
Jenna Newman, thank you very much. Swallow. Very good. Well, I was chewing my ice there. I'm spitting it all out. Anyway, hey guys. So let's just go through this now. Antonio Brown made a statement today. Let's get it up on the screen. It was a very long statement. I'm not going to read it all to you, but it basically says that Bruce Arians shouted at me, "You're done. I didn't quit. I was cut." He makes a longer statement, but that's essentially what it said. Once my surgery is complete, I'll be back to 100% and looking forward to next season. Business going to be booming. So he says he was hurt. He could not go back in. Bruce Arians forced him back into the game. He said no. And when he said no, Bruce Arians said, "You're done." So he left.
He said, "Get the F out of here."
Adam Schefter reporting Antonio Brown accused the Bucs of engaging in an ongoing cover-up. He said an MRI on his ankle shows a broken bone fragments stuck in my ankle, the ligament torn from the bone, and cartilage loss, what are beyond painful. Brown said he will undergo ankle surgery. It goes on to say there's more of this. Now, Dan Lust, he has Twitter reaction. He shows video saying going to be hard for Antonio Brown and his lawyer to convince people he was physically incapable of playing with footage like this. And he attached video of starting and stopping and running and just flying by people. So I don't know. I've never had bone fragments in my ankle. I don't know if that's a pain tolerance thing or a prohibitive thing, something that's going to prohibit you from running like that. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you're seeing Antonio Brown run full speed.
And that was
routes.
Dan Lesson. When we just had Dan Lesson on the show, so I want to be mindful how I word this.
He's taking that from a lawyer's.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Right,
He's a lawyer.
that's what I said. Because what I would tell him from a player standpoint, that's BS. And I'm gonna tell you why. Like, I give you my example, and I give you another example. Thomas Davis, who was a linebacker for the Carolina Panthers for years, great linebacker.
Long time, right?
Actually, he went to a school that we won't say out loud right now. He went to Georgia, but great player alongside Luke Kuechly. They were one of the best linebacking duos for years. He broke his forearm in the NFC Championship game. And the doctor told him, he said, hey, we can operate on it tonight. We can operate on it tonight, put some screws in there, and you'll be able to play in the game, but it's just all about the pain tolerance. It's all about the pain tolerance. He played in the game a week later with a broken forearm. And I know he had surgery. Long story short, you can play with a lot of things, especially if you're getting shot up. What Dan Less forgets to mention is once Antonio and his lawyer go say, hey, we had injections. We got the shot before the game, Thibodeaux shot, which I know all too well about. We got the shot after the second half. So now you got 2 shots in you. You can do a lot when you're on 2 shots of Thibodeaux. You probably think you're Superman. Sure. But then when that stuff starts to wear off because the chips are too much. Steve Breston played with a stress fracture in his ankle, which is a similar injury. He played with a stress fracture in his ankle for most of the year before finally having to sit out because the pain was too much. Just because he did jumping, he jogged off the field gingerly, and he did this. Don't forget about the Thibodeaux shots that he took.
That's the point that I don't think you can legislate against, and that's the pain tolerance of the injury. Yeah. Right? I mean, look, and again, Dan Lust is not saying that's what he believes. He's saying from a legal argument, you are going to have a hard time proving that that's what it is. But
hold on, before you go any further. It started in the locker room at halftime. Antonio Brown was mad that he wasn't getting enough reps. He wasn't getting enough action. So he's talking to his wide receivers coach. He's like, get me the ball. I'm not getting the ball. Brady's not throwing me the ball. So they calmed him down. Arians, you're going to hear him talk. They calmed him down. Then he comes out in the third quarter, and he refuses to go in. He tells his wide receiver coach, I'm not going in. I'm not getting the ball. And that's when Arians came out and did his thing, and you'll hear from him in a couple of minutes here.
So what's the Antonio Brown, Alex Guerrero? Is this something you need to read? Okay, Alex, I'm going to send it over to you because it's just a little bit too small for me. This is a text chain between Antonio Brown and Alex Guerrero, who is
Tom Brady's trainer.
Yes.
Personal trainer who was training AB and rehabbing him.
Yeah.
So Antonio Brown says, hey, AG, if we not going to work anymore, that's fine. Let me know about the $100K I paid you. Only fair to get back half my money. Let me know how to proceed. He said, and the trainer says, good morning, AB. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I completely understand that you want to go in a different direction. Thank you for the opportunity to work together. You are a wonderful person. I hope for your continued success on and off the field. Please let me know where you want me to send the balance. Big hugs, my friend. And this is on AB's Instagram story. He says, at Tom Brady guy and at the trainer, charging me $100K, never doing the work on me. How you even work with people like this? This is what I'm dealing with. End quote.
So if there's one, look, if there's one thing I wouldn't be doing,
is trashing that man.
Trashing Tom Brady or Alex Guerrero.
Yeah.
Because Alex Guerrero is the reason why Tom Brady is not in New England anymore, by the way.
Yeah.
Alex Guerrero
in a good way
is that close to Tom Brady. Bill Belichick did not want him to have full access of the team plane, of the team hotel, of the team facilities, of the field. And Tom Brady, that's a must for him, to have Alex Guerrero go everywhere with him, be everywhere with him, have access to Tom Brady. And I don't know, like, everybody says Antonio Brown's a big jerk. Like, Tom Brady, however you feel about him, here's a guy that opened up his home for you, helped you get back into the NFL if that's something you wanted or not. You didn't have any other opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, why would you trash Tom Brady? at that point. You know what I mean? Like you're living under his roof with his wife, and you know what I mean? Like he brought you into his home. How can you trash somebody like that?
That was the one point. That is the one thing that I don't get, and that's the one thing I don't like. Like I can argue all day for AB in terms of what happened on the field, because we still have an instance I could talk about with San Fran when I played there and being forced to play.
I want to hear it
when the body's not ready, but. The AB has done some things, but I can argue for AB in this instance. But the one thing I can't do is I can't allow you to trash the guy that made this happen. Now, whether you want to call him his guardian angel or not, he definitely went to Bruce Arians and allowed this to happen. He definitely brokered the deal that got AB down there. Like, this guy has been in your corner nonstop. He's let you sleep at the house. Like, he's been your biggest advocate because of Tom Brady's advocation, and people believe in you again. Like, people gave you a second chance. Like, I don't understand why he feels the need to trash everywhere he goes. Like, that's another thing I have a problem with. Everywhere he's left like the biggest fire ever. Like, I don't know exactly what happened to Pittsburgh. I know it was partially Ben's fault, but it wasn't to the point of the comments that he made. Like, viral, you don't do that. You don't burn bridges. Then he does it in Oakland. Then he does it with the Patriots and Robert Kraft. And then he does it here with Bruce Arians.
Braylon.
Like, everywhere he's gone, he's left a hot, steaming pile of you know what. Like, and that's what he's done. Like, that's the part I won't be on his side. I won't advocate for the BS that he does when he burns these bridges. Like, I saw a picture that he had where it was the Home Alone thing, and this is when he stayed in New York. He had the Home Alone 2 poster, which is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. You got Joe Pesci, you got Daniel Stern. Not David Stern, but Daniel Stern, and Macaulay Culkin. He replaces himself with Macaulay Culkin. And he replaces Daniel with Bruce Arians, and he replaces Joe Pesci with Tom Brady. I'm like, so Tom Brady's a villain to you?
Right.
You better take your meds. I'm not buying that.
So Bruce Arians spoke today. Here's the audio of that.
Did he ever ask the trainer or doctor about his ankle? He never went through. That's the normal protocol. You go through protocols during games. I was never notified of it. So obviously that was the disturbing thing when we were looking for him to go back into the game. All right, we always had, he was very upset at halftime about who was getting targeted. Got that calmed down. Players took care of that. It started again on the sideline. We called for the personnel group that he had played in the entire game. He refused to go in the game. That's when I looked back and saw him basically wave off the coach. I then went back, approached him about what was going on. I ain't playing. What's going on? I ain't getting the ball. That's when I said, "You're done. Get the F out of here." And that's the end of it. And we're working on Carolina. That's the end of the story. And hopefully it ends today.
Coach, he accused you of making a throat slash.
I don't know. Is that a throat slash? That's all it was.
Just to be clear, you would not force a player to play.
You can't force a player to play. You can't force a player to play. I mean, they have that choice. It's their body. And he decided to play. He and Mike both were on pitch counts. All right. And we were trying to manage that as best we could in the first half.
Have you communicated with him? Because he had posted some text messages that were purported to be between you guys about his ankle. Had you guys texted during the week at all about his ankle? I know you weren't actually physically here because you were.
No, you saw the text. I mean, it was out there. So it's, if you can go on Saturday, I want you with the team in case you can go. He participated in the Saturday walkthrough like he was going, so there was never another question about it.
So there you have it.
There's too much information.
And the text he's referring to is this. Throw that up there, Alex, for me. The text he's referring to, Antonio Brown put out a text that said,
it's him and Bruce Arians.
This is BA, Bruce Arians. Make sure you're ready to go tomorrow. We are not resting for the playoffs. Call me. And then Antonio Brown responds, I'm all in, coach. Really can't get to a full speed. I want to win, want to be there. If I wake up tomorrow, feel better, I'll be ready. Kind of rolled it outside on a 2-point play. I want what's best for the team. Let me know when you're free to talk. And he said, come see me in the morning. We'll talk it out. Definitely want you with us in case you're ready. And I don't know what's wrong about that other than Antonio Brown is saying that,
he's just showing you the receipts.
I injured my foot. And he said, well, if you're ready, we want you with us.
Yeah, seems like he said more than that. If you're ready, seems like he was like, you get your.
Well,
butt
that's
in
how
there.
it left off.
Yeah. So I mean, it's weird. Like they say that, but they don't mean that.
Sure, they want him to play.
When I was in San Fran in
Period.
2011, so I tore my meniscus in the second game of the season. It's against Dallas. We were playing against Dallas. It was a great game. I got hurt. First down. I caught it. It was 24 yards. Tore my meniscus. Was out the game. Had surgery. Doctor said, and this was Stanford Medical, I didn't even think about going to Dr. Andrews, which everybody goes. Everybody knows about Dr. Andrews in Alabama. I didn't think about going there at Stanford Medical. I said, you know what? Stanford should be able to get just the meniscus. Had surgery there. The doctor told Jim Harbaugh, as a coach at the time, he told him, he said, hey, this should take 4 to 6 weeks to heal. But he's a young guy, should pretty much heal in about 4 weeks, whatever. Didn't take into account that I had torn my ACL on that same knee. I don't know if that played a factor at all. But basically, after the process, once it got to 4 weeks, like Jim Harbaugh was asking every day the doctor, and doctor said, yeah, he should be ready. I was nowhere near ready. Like my knee hurt. Like when I was in practice and I'm practicing, I'm going, it felt terrible. But once again, now I'm in a situation like AB. I'm not Braylon Edwards that I was when I was first round draft pick for the Cleveland Browns, where the organization went through me. I'm not going to receive the best care or given the most time to heal. Same thing with the Jets. It's like, nah. Then I could do what I want. I could take my time to heal. When I was with the 49ers and now I wasn't on that type of deal, I was on a $1.5 million deal. Now I'm nervous. I feel like I got to play because I got to go out there to get the money. And then Jim's telling me I should be able to be ready to play because the doctor told him I should be able to be ready to play. He didn't care about my body. You're not in my body. But you're telling me because of some scale of what it says the healing time is, he should be ready.
That's
but
crazy.
I was not ready, but I was nervous about playing.
Are you re-injuring yourself at this time?
Yes.
You are. So when
Yes.
it hurts,
yes,
you are re-injuring
Sometimes
yourself.
you're not re-injuring. Sometimes it can't get any worse. It's gonna hurt until it gets better.
How do you know? I mean,
the body tells you, man, and the body told me, like, sit down. But because I'm in that situation, I'm in that spot. AB's no longer with the Steelers. AB's no longer making $20 million a year. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I want to be at my best. Like, but you're scared and you don't know.
See, that's a perspective that you and I can never know,
Correct.
Mass. You and I will never know. Look at us.
You shed more light on me, on this than I could ever know.
And that's
I tell you that he's still being an idiot.
He is.
But in terms of the actual injury itself and how they dealt with it, it's a different subject. You want to wait for more stuff to come out, but I can make a case for AB.
Want to know the worst part? He put out a tweet earlier that had his bank information on it. And they had to pull it down.
Oh my God!
There's so many people right now with his bank information. It's not even fun. I mean,
hey, speaking of bank information, do you want yours to grow? Stick around for this next segment. We're going to take a pause, 30 seconds.
Look at you with the
We
tease.
got Chris Prince, the Beerman, with us. We're going to look ahead at the NFL. We're going to take a look at the Monday night college football game between Alabama and Georgia, and of course, see if there's anything tonight on the NBA docket. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Really excited here. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports. Tom Mazawey along with us. We've got Sam. We've got Alex Mayer as well. And we've got this guy, the one, the only, Chris Prince, Beerman, part of the Woodward Bet Show. Guys are rolling over there. Weeknights at 6, weekends at 9. Beer, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, guys. I know it's January 6th, but our first time talking here in 2022. So happy New Year to all you guys, everybody at the team there at Woodward Sports, and I hope everybody's doing well on this fine Thursday evening.
Happy New Year, man. We missed you, buddy. We missed you.
Merry New Year.
Happy New Year. We are happy to have you, man. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Michigan game. Don't talk about it.
Beer, how you doing, man? What's been happening? Give us something good here. What's
I need it. I'm broke. Michigan broke my pockets.
What
Get
kind
me
of
right.
action you got going on over there? You guys on a heater at all?
Some sweet
over
action.
there, Woodward Bets.
Yeah, it's been pretty good lately. We kind of dug in on the Pistons last night, went deep on some of the props. We know how that went. The game got out of hand pretty quick. You allow Kelly Oubre to hit 8 3-pointers in a quarter. I mean, that's something else. So,
pretty awesome defense there.
Yeah, we're still doing our thing, breaking down the
It's
NFL,
John Cena.
breaking down college football, NBA every night. So things are going well at the Woodward Bets crew for sure.
What's going on this weekend in the NFL? You've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, it's just kind of a plethora of NFL, and there's some really important games as well. I mean, you've got the Chargers and the Raiders on Sunday night. You've got division championships on the line. You've got the Rams going against the 49ers. I mean, there's a lot of great action this week in the final week of the regular season.
How about the Colts and Jags?
Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah, that'll be a barn burner, man. Jonathan Taylor may go for 250 yards in that one, but
I know.
yeah,
But hey, Beer, 7 in a row they've lost in Jacksonville.
That's going to change this week. They're not losing this year. Jacksonville is that bad, but yeah, it should be a fun day of football. I mean, we have some games like that where blowouts are certainly a concern. You really have to look at who still has motivation, who's still playing for something. A lot of these teams in the NFC, the Saints, the 49ers, like you mentioned, Ryan, against the Rams, that obviously a huge game. So a lot of potential playoff matchups here. That Chargers and Raiders game should be fun. As long as the Colts don't tie. There's a weird scenario where if the Colts end up tied, both of those teams could end up in the playoffs somehow. But excited for NFL playoffs, nothing like it. We're heading that direction, and definitely some good games on the docket here.
I got a side note for you, Chris. I got a side note that has nothing to do with the NFL, but everything to do with the NFL. Defensive Player of the Year. Talk to me about that. This is an interesting pick coming up. Like, what will you bet on? And like, what would be a good bet? I don't know how it is, so I'm asking you. Talk to me about that pick and picking that.
I want to say Micah Parsons, which would be pretty historic. I mean,
over T.J.
Close
Watt?
your ears, Maz.
T.J. Watt certainly is in the running, but we know Dallas is America's team, and to give a rookie that award, I think could be something that happened. Now it's a longer shot, Braylon.
Yeah.
You want something that's more of a long shot. I think he's a shoo-in for Defensive Rookie of the Year, obviously, but to give him that award, this guy is one of the best young players I've seen on the defensive side of the ball in a long time. Yeah, ever. I mean, we're talking maybe Lawrence Taylor type impact on the game. Maybe not that level quite yet, but this guy's certainly been a difference maker. That team in general, I'm a Green Bay fan. Dallas scares the hell out of me because we know defense travels, and that offense is good enough to get into any kind of shootout with any team in the playoffs. But I think taking a shot on him as a long shot here on that award, don't hate that. I always love to find a little. I don't want the favorite, Braylon.
Yeah, I like
the guy
it.
that's going to win me a little bit of money. I think Parsons would be the bet for me there.
Hey, Beer,
like
how do you approach this weekend? I mean, do you just cross games off your list? Like, for instance, Cincinnati and Cleveland. No Joe Burrow, no Joe Mixon, and then on the other side, no Baker Mayfield. I mean, do games like that just get eliminated from anything?
Yeah, I think if you're playing fantasy, DFS mainly, you should not be playing season-long fantasy at this point. If your commissioner is still running a league in Week 18, he should be fired on the spot. But as far as daily fantasy goes, I think you could still find value out of those games, Ryan, a guy like Samaje Perine on the Bengals side. But, yeah, mostly those are stay-away games. We got a lot of low totals. This week is very reminiscent of preseason. A lot of question mark. Who's going to play, even with the Green Bay Packers, my team? Are they going to play? Are they not going to play? So it's really an information-driven week. I spent a lot more time in this week kind of diving into what the beat reporters are saying, trying to read between the tea leaves. Some coaches you can trust, some you throw it out the window. So it's definitely an information-driven week for sure.
Chris, how about that game, the Packers-Lions? The spread was Lions 2.5 on Monday, and now they're all of a sudden getting 3.5 or 4. I mean, is it because Aaron Rodgers said, I want to play? Is it because maybe Jared Goff might not play? What's the number there? It's kind of weird.
I think it's a combination of all of those things, Maz. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get his way, but I don't think we're going to see them for a full game. I think the perfect marriage for Green Bay, get these guys some reps, continue our work towards the playoffs. You don't want them resting for 2 weeks, getting out of their routine. Braylon, I'm sure you know, it's a weekly routine. You stay in it. You welcome the rest for sure, but 2 weeks, you start to get a little rust, and they've been the number 1 seed before. They've rested guys, and it hasn't ended well for them. So there could be a little bit of recency bias there with the Packers, but I think we see them maybe a quarter, maybe a half. I think that's part of what's fueling the spread. The other thought, like you said, if Jared Goff's not in there, who knows Tim Boyle better than the Green Bay Packers? I mean, that's where he came from. They will easily be able to scheme something for this guy. So I don't mind getting in early here on the Green Bay Packers at that number. If we know they're playing, we know the spread is way too low at 3.5.
I've never been on the side that had the first round bye, but I have been on the side of the team that played the team with the first round bye. In 2009, 2010 season, I was with the New York Jets, and the San Diego Chargers had a first round bye. They were a really good team that year, had a bye, and we went and played Cincinnati. And to your point, Ryan, we stayed in rhythm. We beat Cincinnati last game of the season. We turned around and played Cincinnati in the playoffs. We beat them. Then that 2-week period, we go out to San Diego. It didn't matter. They just could never get off the ground. Like, they were feet stuck in mud. Phillip couldn't make throws. LaDainian was off the plate. Like, Antonio Cromartie didn't even want to play. That was an infamous play where he didn't tackle Sean Green. And guess what? We had Antonio Cromartie and LaDainian Thompson the next season. So you definitely, that bye, it hurts you in a lot of times.
Hey, Beer, do you have a best bet this weekend? Do you like anything in the NFL?
I like Green Bay, but my best bet's probably Pittsburgh. I don't see there's any reason why the Baltimore Ravens at this point should be 5.5-point favorites over anybody. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's last game, both of those teams have a very slim shot at the playoffs, probably unlikely here, but I see this game being more of a closer 3-point game. So Pittsburgh stands out to me at that 5.5. Also really like New England. I think they're going to go into Miami and get their business done. So if you can get that one under a touchdown, I also like the Patriots a lot this week.
College football national championship game on Monday. It looks like they're begging you to take Alabama. I mean, anytime Alabama's getting 3 points or getting any kind of points, I mean, it looks like they're begging you to take them.
Yeah, and we talked about that in the first meeting between these two teams, and the public was all over Georgia. They were the undefeated team. We felt like Alabama was undervalued. Me as well, Braylon. We were on the same page on that one. I'm going back to Georgia here in this one. You mentioned it, Ryan. I think we're seeing the recency bias of the public, which is what I like to think about when I'm making these bets, thinking Alabama won the last game. They have the advantage with Nick Saban. That's certainly a concern, is they have the coaching advantage. But that Georgia defense, we saw what they can do here. It was unfortunate for the Michigan fans out there, wanted to see a better outing here. But I think Georgia puts it together here. You're right, Ryan. I think they're begging you to take Alabama. I always want to fade the public. I think doing it is going back to the Georgia side of things. I think they finally get this monkey off their back. I think the Georgia Bulldogs, this year's national champion.
Small slate in the NBA tonight. Beer, you like anything?
Yeah, there's a couple games I like. I like a prop with the Pistons. I'm going back to the well on Cade Cunningham. There's points, rebounds, assists, props that you can bet. He almost hit it last night, only playing 26 minutes. That one's sitting at 29.5 in the FanDuel Sportsbook. So let's hope they can stay competitive with Memphis. And I like Phoenix tonight. The Clippers without Paul George, without Kawhi Leonard, going to struggle to find offense here. I think the Suns roll at home, so I don't hate laying that big number. I think it's 10.5 right now with the Phoenix Suns.
Beer, I got one for you. It's I think the game of the week. It's the Rams and the Niners. Both need it. Rams need it to win the division. Niners need it to get in the playoffs. You can't ask for more than that. Who you like in that game?
I like San Francisco with the points. I think the Rams win, but I think we get a close game. So that one's sitting about 4 right now in the sports books. I think San Francisco competes. We'll see if they get Jimmy Garoppolo back. I know Cooper Kupp has lots of records at stake here, so they're certainly going to be motivated to get him to those records. But, guys, we've seen Matthew Stafford kind of struggle in these spots. You guys are well aware as Lions fans, these big games. He can tend to slip up a little bit. We've seen a lot of turnovers here lately. I think the Niners playing some good football. So do the Niners win? I think the Rams eke it out, but I think it's close, Maz. I'm going with San Francisco plus the 4 points.
Should I bet the pick 6?
Yeah, there you go. That was a good bet. You know that's a winner.
On Twitter at BeerMakersFan. Follow him, Chris Prince, the Beer Man. And, of course, watch Beer, Scotty G, and the rest of the fellas at Woodward Bets. Weeknights here on Woodward Sports, 6 o'clock. And, of course, weekends at 9. Beer, thanks so much, my friend. Happy New Year to you.
See you, brother.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year. Have a good night.
I'm taking the Rams, but not because of Matt Stafford. It's because Cooper Kupp and because Odell Beckham has found himself from back in New York. That's why I'm taking the Rams.
Look at that.
I don't hate it.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Maz's videos of the day. And do you have breaking news, Alex? Is that Alex has breaking news?
Uh-oh.
All right. We got to get a sounder for that pretty soon. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
What is it, Mel Tucker staying?
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it. Spin. Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Big names, bigger opinions. It's the bottom line on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys out there, it's Braylon from Woodward Sports Network telling you about Gypsy Vodka as I always do. You got to pay attention to me when I tell you it is gluten-free. If you want to start the New Year's off right, you want to be healthy and get into it, well, if you want to drink vodka and be healthy, this is the way to go. Gluten-free vodka, corn distilled 6 times with artesian spring water. Man, this stuff is good. It is tasty. Adam and Mike, you guys did well with this one. Go to your local neighborhood liquor stores. Hell, it's even the gas stations now. As for Gypsy Vodka, and if they don't have it, tell them Maz and Ryan sent you. I guarantee they go in the back and get the private stash for you. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna drink responsibly.
That's right. All right, Maz, here we go. Final segment of the show, and we got short time to do it. Let's go.
I thought we had breaking news.
Oh yeah, breaking news. What do you got?
Gas.
You guys are hyping me up way too much. You guys are gonna be really mad at me, but
what else?
Breaking news.
Never mad at you,
surrounding. Oh, let me get Paul for this one. Actually, it's surrounding Michigan State University. It's
God.
Braylon's favorite Michigan State player, Xavier Henderson, has announced that he will be exercising his final year of eligibility and coming back for the 2022 football season. Let's go. Along with Ronald Williams as well.
He was going to be like an 8th round pick anyway.
No, he was not.
I don't think they have 8 rounds anymore.
I don't have any shot to take because he's an extremely good player and him coming back.
Check your mic again. I think you're unplugged.
Xavier Henderson?
Oh,
there he is. He's unplugged.
There you go.
Plug yourself.
I never heard of that guy before.
Okay.
It's a joke. Remember when I didn't know anybody's name?
Wait, Braylon, did I ever tell you that he called you out in his press conference after the Michigan game?
He did.
That's
he
awesome.
did. What I love about it is that the secondary did nothing. But yeah, go ahead.
Gave up 500 yards offense. And that's too.
Yeah, I heard what he said, but it doesn't matter. They won. It's all good.
Go for it, baby.
All right, let's take you back to this day in sports, 2007. Tony.
Here's Gramatica. Romo holds. 19-yard field goal attempt. Oh, it is fumbled. Oh! Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled.
He almost got in.
Tony!
Amazing.
This is what chased Tony to the broadcast booth.
Yeah, right.
I love Tony Romo, too.
You're cracking jokes. That's for real.
Can you imagine that? Losing that way?
Poor Bill Parcells.
Seriously.
They would have lost in overtime.
Maybe not.
Can you not? But here's the question: what if he would have got that? That play completely changes the legacy of Tony Romo if he gets that.
Sure.
It changes the legacy
for sure.
They may win a Super Bowl that year just off destiny.
Honestly,
inches.
Bill Parcells is your coach. You know he
knows the Super Bowl like no other.
You know he knows it.
He knows it. Okay, let's go back to 1980. This is my childhood. Graduated high school this year. If they had replay in 1980. The Houston Oilers would have won the Super Bowl that year.
My dad
but
was
they got screwed in Three Rivers, of course. Check it out.
A minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. The Oilers 6 yards away from a tie. It is Renfro. Touchdown. Or is it? Out of play. A late call. The official did not make any signal and now apparently has said no touchdown. He did not signal. I don't think he could see the play.
Bum Phillips.
Unbelievable.
Listen to Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. They're going to show you the highlight now, the video. He's clearly in.
Didn't Merlin play for the Vikings?
Play for the Rams.
All Rams. What is that thing called, the Rams? Their D-line. It's called something.
Is that Frank Gifford?
No, it's Dan
Enberg.
Dick Enberg.
Dick Enberg. Here you go. Look.
Catch one.
Oh, man, that's a great catch. That's two.
Too easy.
He had one and then he tapped the second.
Look how they reversed it back in 1980, right there.
It still shows you a catch.
There it is.
See that?
You got it, yep.
Right foot, and
one,
then tap.
two. Yep. Wow.
Mike Renfro easily in against the Steelers.
Might have won the Super Bowl
and the
that
great
year.
Oilers might still be alive today.
Right.
If that was. We still have time? Or
yeah,
we
one
done?
more.
All right, let's go back to this past weekend. Our
let's go back to
guy.
the 40s.
Our favorite guy. Family, whatever is how you say it.
Family.
I'll be with my family.
It's Brian Kelly on Family.
Yes, right? If he says you got to dance, you're going to dance. Why wouldn't you dance? And listen, whether it was dancing or I couldn't get my accent down with family. Listen, I'm from Boston. We don't have strong accents. And by the way, you cannot getting on me about my accent because you got one too.
Intercepted and taken away by Russ Yeast on a 3rd and long play.
Well, listen,
my family.
So at least he admitted it. And two, number 25 better stop dancing like that before he tears his ACL like Adam Schefter doing the Gritty.
Oh my God! Did you
That's
see
the dance he was doing right there.
Great, the Gritty. I love the Gritty. Maz, Braylon, Alex, Sam, love you. Get us out of here, Bray. Happy. I gotta go.
Luke, I'm about to say,
happy birthday,
Luke.
Luke. 5 years old, my little guy Luke today. So I'm gonna go give him a big hug and get out of here.
Give him hugs from his uncles too.
Yep, you got it.
Happy Luke from Uncle Braylon,
Bray,
Uncle Maz.
Fearsome foursome, baby.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. The fearsome foursome with the Rams defensive line with Deacon Jones as well as Merlin Olsen. We had a great show. Happy birthday, Luke. I think that's the big takeaway right now. Go home, enjoy it. Big 5-0, Cinco.
Is Derrick Walton come to the party?
D. Walton, thanks for coming to. We appreciate you last minute, as well as watch some NBA. LeBron James is averaging about 40 points lately. You got Steph, who's 2 for 19 in the last 2 games. Steph Curry 2 for 19 from the 3-point line.
That's okay.
Chasing that record was a lot. DeMar DeRozan 2-game winners. Jokic doing something nobody has ever done before. 14, 27, and 7, I believe. KD is KD, and Giannis. He's the Greek freak. I'm Braylon. I'm out of here.
Into the Red Wing zone. Larkin chipped it to Raymond out to center ice. Dropping it back to Larkin with speed over the line. Turns the corner, shoots, and scores! What a shot by Larkin beating Aiden Hill, and it's now 5-2 Red Wings.
Boy, that's one of the best passes I've seen all season long. Minutes shown by Lucas Raymond. One hand on the stick and puts it between the defender's legs right on the tip. It's a redirection to play to Dylan Larkin. Smart to play by Raymond. And Larkin gets some speed to the outside, turn the corner, and a wicked shot coming down the right wing.